Welcome back, everybody. I'm on with Travis Burnett, very talented young actor. Somebody who has a lot of things that just came out and are about to come out. Somebody who just got a YEA nomination. Please welcome for the program, Travis.
Hey, yeah, so much like is happening like all at once, 2, 3 days in advance, like crazy.
Yeah, and more to the point, today is your birthday. Today, on the actual day that we're taping this, is your birthday. So happy
Yeah.
birthday.
Well, thank you. Yeah, good birthday presents, having a day before two shows come out. Like,
I
what are the
know.
odds of that? Like two shows on separate streaming platforms coming out the same day, one day before your birthday.
Well, listen, it's a wonderful birthday present, and I hope many more like it to you. Keeping fingers crossed and knocking on wood and doing the old foot over the left shoulder, getting everything out of the way so it works for you. Uh,
Yeah,
it's
thank
it's wonderful. So the two things that are coming out or just came out actually yesterday on the 18th is the second season of Diary of a Future President on Disney Plus, and Defeated. Which streaming services Defeated on?
you. The Defeated is on Netflix.
Netflix. Listen, you have Netflix and Disney Plus. This is not a
Yeah,
bad company to be in.
yeah, it's a very good balance.
Excellent. And I haven't watched either of those. I've seen some of your demo reels that I want to talk to you about, especially a particular scene from one of those. But I've seen your work, and there's a lot of range there. And I wanted to talk to you about that first because, I see things like Bunked, and I see some of the more, kid-friendly shows, and it's the traditional type of performances in a comedic environment. And then I see you doing something extremely serious with Jason Segel
Yeah.
in Dispatch from Elsewhere, which I'm going to come back to in a few minutes. But that range, is that something that has always kind of been drilled into you of, be wide, have a range, don't just focus on a
Mhm.
particular area, or is that just how you like it?
Well, yeah, range is something that's like really hard to master because there's some people that just do comedies, there's some people that just do dramas, there's some
Yeah.
people that's good with dramas but okay with comedy. But like it's really hard to find a balance because like if you have a dramatic audition, then you have a comedic audition like 5 minutes after, like you have to like you have to take a deep breath and like get into that mindset of this is more serious and down to earth.
Yeah.
But I just learned it like because I have a good acting coach, David Kaufman, and so he's helped me walk through the steps of transitioning.
Is there a particular, do you like one of those more than the other? Do you feel
Ooh.
yourself more comedy or drama? What's your draw?
Um, there's good things for each one, but like the dramatic, I sort of see more of myself. I mean, I am very funny in real, and I mean, I am sort of funny in real life, but it's nice to try something different in drama and serious. But comedy, it just like I love watching like stand-up comedians, so like it's really fun to just make people laugh. But
Yeah.
I mean, like, if I'm gonna pick between something like really really happy and something that I need to cry for 5 hours, I'm probably gonna pick the happy one.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I'm with you. I get to do a lot more drama than comedy, and I have a problem with that because I'm the prototypical goofy, neighbor or the uncle on a sitcom. That's more me. That's
yeah,
kind of my default mode. I love drama. I just don't want to do mostly drama. I want it to be balanced.
yeah, yeah. It's important not to get put in like a little box. Like, oh, you booked one comedy, now you're doing only comedy. So it's good if you like book like one of each, so you can see, oh, he can do this, but he can also do that. So
Yeah,
start
I
seeing
know.
both
So I
ways.
know you work with a wonderful, manager, Nikki. Has that been a part of the strategy to make sure that we that she diversifies the things that you're auditioning for or booking at?
Um, yeah, I think that definitely plays a role. Like, because for some of them, like I think it's happened 1 or 2 times where I've gotten like an audition for something that's just like totally like not me. So like we've
Mm.
sort of like talked together like maybe not this one, but there's also this one that he's perfect for. Let's work on that one. Something like that, you know.
Yeah. No, it's very important, and especially again, we can say that your career is just starting, but that's not exactly true. You've done a ton of theater, and then you're recurring on 4 or 5 shows, and you've done commercials. So you already have a full-fledged career, and you've done a lot of things. But as you are, taking those next steps, I think it is important to keep it diversified and show that
Yeah.
you can do a variety of things to make
Mhm.
sure that as you progress, you don't get pigeonholed in a particular type.
Yeah, definitely.
I want to talk to you about the last episode of Dispatch from Elsewhere with Jason
Mhm.
Segel, which threw me for a loop in a really really positive way because as I'm watching your demo reels, I see comedy, I see lighthearted, I see kind of physical comedy elements, I see kid shows, and then boom in your face, I'm like whoa,
Yeah.
okay, that's different. And then being Jason is 40 years old, I'm 46. Um, Obviously, Jason and I are very different in our experiences and careers, but I grew up as a kid doing acting and dreaming of acting, and then
Mhm.
life took me in a different direction until I came back to it. So that idea of talking to a younger self, talking
Yeah.
to somebody who is you at 14, 15, whatever they intended
Mhm.
that to be. I am almost crying just thinking about
Oh,
me,
yeah.
myself, talking to myself. What was that scene like? Because from Jason's and your perspective, was it very very emotional? Because I get emotional just thinking about it.
Yeah. Well, it's sort of like, you know how we were like talking earlier, like being
Yeah.
typecast, put in a box. That's sort of what happened with him as a kid, you know, because he was like just doing like happy songs, but he wanted to do a sad song. So
Yeah.
like, and he never had the courage to stand up for himself. And like at that moment, it's when the two different life experiences, the one where he's thinking about quitting, which is like me, where he like really wants to do this thing, and him where he's just like given up. And those two parts clash. It like it made fireworks, and it was really really cool to watch. And when I feel like because like none of the other scenes had like that explosive energy of like me yelling at him, that like when we finished the first take, like everybody on set was like wow. And it was really really funny.
Yeah, and I want to go back to a little bit of how you got the role in a minute, but just that idea, and obviously you knew who Jason Segel was beforehand. I'm
Yes.
sure you've watched him in a variety of things, but um, having, and again, acting is all about all about power. Who controls the power in a particular scene? In that scene, there is no doubt of who controls the power, who takes the power,
Yeah.
and that's you. Being your age and acting across from Jason, was it difficult to take that power, or were you able to snap into it and just do it?
Um, I sort of found myself like being able to just do it because like I never felt like he thought that he was better than everybody else. Like, oh, just do your part. I'm gonna nail mine, but you can just try and do yours. No, I felt like I was sort of at an equal playing field with him. Like it was really really nice.
That's cool. He's again, I don't know much about Jason other than what I've read and what I've seen, but he seems like a really good guy. So I'm hoping that that was the experience.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
how did that role come about? Because I imagine when Jason is casting in essence himself
Yeah.
or a part of himself, that probably was not a self tape and book off of that. I think there was
No.
probably a process to it. So what was that process like?
Well, I got the audition. It was
Mhm.
like I think I remember something about like the description of it like being very vague. Like it definitely wasn't all explained in the audition specs.
Yeah.
But then I sent in the first tape. I went straight I got a call back, and then I was like, "Wow, that's super cool." And then I didn't hear for like maybe a week, I think.
Mhm.
And I was just like, okay, that's one's gone. But one day when we were at the DMV getting, I think it was like a license plate, something like that, anything you do at the DMV, and we
Okay.
get a call from Nikki and DDO saying he booked dispatches from elsewhere, and us having a lot more auditions, were like, what? Which one's that? And it was kind of embarrassing. Like, which one did I book?
Yeah.
But then they explained it's the one where you're playing opposite Jason Segel, his younger version, and we both like burst out screaming like, ah! And that was in the DMV. So security had to come get us and say, you can't be screaming in here. This is like government property or something. So we had to be escorted out, and then we screamed. So it was
Wow.
a very funny story.
That's amazing. So is there a particular I preface this by saying that I have my happy dance. Anytime I book something, me and both of my kids, we get around in a circle and we jump around and scream, and that's kind of our happy book the dance. Do you have anything, of the sort that when you're booking, when you're not, at a DMV, is there a particular process that you go through?
Well, not not so much for me. My grandma definitely has something like that. Well, I brought this up like somewhere other day, but we almost always, besides at the DMV, we find out I booked something in the car. So it would be kind of hard to like move around
Yeah,
and dance in the car, but my grandma like always just goes like just like screams really loud. I'm obviously not going to do that because it would get very loud. But
yeah,
I'm just sort of in shock at first. Like I'm just like my brain immediately goes to like, oh my gosh, I'm going to actually get to be on set. I'm going to interact with every single person. I'm actually going to do the scene that I auditioned for. And
yeah.
that's crazy to me. But I don't really have anything that's just like, I mean, obviously I get really excited, but
Sure.
yeah.
No, but and you mentioned something that again, the actors know, but it's a really cool tidbit for those that are not in the industry. When you got the booking, you had to ask them which one was it, because there are lots of auditions, and usually you
Yeah.
hear nothing. It's
Yeah.
not the rejection; you just hear nothing.
Nothing.
And you train yourself, and I don't know if you're that way, but I train myself and all of the instructors that I've worked with before, they always drill this into your head of you do the audition and you forget about it.
Yeah.
Forget about it, move on, put it aside. And then it's kind of a surprise, like, okay, which one? What was that? Which one did I
Yeah.
do? So yeah.
Yeah. I was like, I have heard that advice, but it's really hard for me to do that because
Yeah.
I, especially when I get like a callback, go to producer session, stuff like that, I get like emotionally connected to the role. I'm like, oh, I really like this. I could see myself doing it.
Yeah.
And I feel like I could get better at sort of like, okay, cool. There's gonna be other auditions. Just mellow out. If it happens, it happens. So just relax.
Hey,
Yeah.
be you. Whatever works for you is working for you. For me, is kind of putting it all aside, and then it becomes hard because other people know that I auditioned for this part or this part, and then I'm driving back, and I call my parents, and they're like, "Well, how did it go?" And there's a part of me that says, "I don't want to think about it. I'm trying to let that go and move
Yeah.
on, and then I have to regurgitate everything that
Yeah.
happened." So I stopped calling people. I stopped kind of telling people about auditions. Like, yeah, I'm going to auditions. If I book anything, I'll let you
Yeah. And it's like, say like somebody asks how did it go? You might like if you tell them, you might start to think, you might second guess yourself like, oh, I could
know.
have done it this way. If you think about it too much, you're gonna start thinking, did I do good? Did I do bad? Just let it go. Yeah. Good
Yeah.
advice.
And have you had any particular auditions, like self tape right now is most of what I do. I don't know if it's the same for you, but you do something and you connect so well and you feel like it's yours. There's no way that they can see somebody who is better than you, and then you hear nothing and you don't get a call back. You're like,
Yeah.
I how is this
Yeah.
possible?
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely, I don't know if I can say the projects by name, but there's like
Right.
there's definitely a couple projects that come to mind that I'm just like, darn. And like one of them I think I'm still in the running for. So that's kind of exciting. Fingers crossed, knock on wood. But like I sort of rack my brain when I know like, okay, I didn't get it. But like I sort of like I start to think, okay, what could I have done better? Like what did I do and what didn't I do? And like I just need to not worry about that. Like it could have been the color of the hair or something. Like color of
It's
the
true.
eyes at that point.
It's anything and everything, and we'll never know what it really was for the most part. So just yeah, move on.
Yeah.
Um, did you have fun doing it? Yes, good. That's enough. That's enough reward. Okay, let's talk a little bit about your nomination. So the YA nomination. What did you get that for? Was that for the for Jason's role?
Yeah, that was for Dispatches from Elsewhere. And I don't think it specifies if it's like for a specific episode,
Mhm.
but I'm pretty sure it's episode 10, but it might be just overall
Yeah.
the nomination.
Congratulations. And
Yeah.
so is it nomination as in you have a chance to win something and then you're nominated, or it's just a nomination and that's kind of the win in itself?
Yeah, if you're nominated and you have a chance to win everything. So I've been nominated for a YEA before and I won that YEA. So nominated once, won once. So hoping to keep the track record
Okay.
100% clean.
I think we'll just continue the interview with our fingers crossed.
Yeah, just permanently keep them.
That works for me. Very cool. When will you find out if you won on this one?
I really don't know because like I don't know if they're going to be doing it in person because last time when I got the award it was in person. I don't know if they're going to be like a Zoom call and the winner is like so we might just get a letter in the mail like hey you won. But
Okay. Okay. A win is a win. It doesn't matter how you get it, right?
yeah, just to be
Okay.
nominated is really cool.
Yeah. As I said that, I don't believe in that statement at all, but in this particular case, I do. Yeah, very cool. And actually, last thing I wanted to mention about that project is because of your deep theater experience, you got a chance to do, make him laugh, which
Yeah.
is one of my favorite numbers all time from Singing in the Rain.
Mhm.
And you had a chance to do stuff. So did they, kind of dig into your specific theater environment during the casting process, or?
I don't think they asked me to do a singing sample, but oh wait, no, they did. They did actually. Yeah, they did. They did ask me to sing a little bit of the actual song. The oh my gosh, why can't I think of the name? But they did ask me to sing it.
Make him laugh.
Make them laugh. That's right. They did ask me to sing a little bit of that. So the musical theater definitely helped. But
Yeah,
in regards to that, I'm gonna go off on a tangent right here.
go
But
for it.
there was the scene where I was like because I was singing the song, but it was bad. Like I was just like really like not doing well.
Mhm.
I had to go to 3 rehearsals, dancing rehearsals, for like 3 hours straight. And like they taught me all choreography. They made me get it down perfectly. And like I'm not a dancer as they would call it, but she like um the amazing dance choreographer like was Catherine Burns, and she like made me like feel like I'm gonna do great, but I did not know the dance. So I arrived on set so stressed out, like, okay, I don't know the dance. Am I supposed to do this dance? Because I don't know how to do it. But then they said, oh no, that was just a trick. We were messing with you because we wanted you in real life to feel as confused and like, yeah, confused as you would be on set doing that number. So I was like, oh, okay. So I was meant to just do a really sloppy performance. I thought I was gonna have to do it like real. And that
Yeah.
was like I mean, it got a good performance out, but come on.
Wow. Okay. That's good to know. What was that Jason's idea as well?
I
Or
don't know whose idea it was. I don't know if it was Catherine's, Jason's, like they all sort of piled on in the idea, I bet.
my goodness. Okay. Well, there's acting world for you. You never know what
Yeah.
you're going to get on set. And did anybody ever tell you, as you were talking, and again, kind of brought up the dancing part, you made me think of Tom Holland. Anybody tell you that you look like a Tom Holland?
Oh no, nobody ever told me that. Do I really?
You do. You do to
Oh,
me. So
well, thank you.
you're welcome. Very cool. So Defeated. I wanted to ask you about Defeated that just came out, as we've mentioned a few times. Tell me more about that role and that show in general.
Um, well, it's post World War II Berlin,
Mhm.
and like this cop who's my uncle goes to get my dad, his brother, because like he's like doing some not nice things, because that's all I'm gonna say really. But
Sure.
and there's a couple like heartwarming scenes between me and my uncle on the phone between each other. Like I'm asking, did you find my dad? Because I don't know. I just think he's been lost in the war. I don't know anything he's doing. So it's really like sad to think about like, oh, he doesn't know.
Mhm.
So, and there's a couple scenes we're pretty sure that I might be in person, but we haven't watched the whole series. We've only seen episode 1 through 3, but it is very gory. But I'm not in any of that, so that's good.
Very cool. And you get a chance to go to Prague and shoot them?
Yeah, we got to go to the Czech Republic, and it was really, really cool. We got to see like we stayed in a hotel like a couple blocks away from Old Town Square, which
Mm.
is like we got like it's this in the center of it is like this like statue that celebrates a holiday, Jan Hus Day, I think. I don't know. And there's a really good restaurant that we always went to, and we got to go back twice because I don't really know why we went back, but we went back, and we definitely went back to that restaurant, and it was so cool to see all the towers, and we shot at this really old castle, like this castle um is like up a hill, and it sat on top of the hill, so it was really cool drive and seeing all the architecture.
Very cool. And who got to go with you again? Being your age, you can be on set on
Yeah.
your own. Who went with you?
My grandma went with me. That's it. Yeah. My grandpa, he had work, so he couldn't come, but we sent him a lot of pictures, so he felt like he was there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And speaking of your grandma, in doing some research, your grandma kind of is responsible for you being in this position because she's been in
Definitely.
theater. So tell us more
Yeah.
about.
She is definitely the reason that I am currently in acting because it started off like she was a 9 o'clock player doing theater for kids,
Mhm.
and her director told her he should be up there. So obviously that's never crossed her mind because why would it, you know? So we put me in like a suit and tie, a tuxedo, and a top hat, and I announced the show. I said the name of the show, the pianist, the director, and she told me that the first thing I said when I finished was, "That was really fun. Can I do it again?" And that was when I was 3. I was 3 years old when that happened. So, and since it was in the theater, I think that sort of explains why I did theater first. You know, like I grew up in the theater. Theater was my roots to TV and film. So,
No, it's in great roots. Theater
yeah.
is wonderful, and I'm so happy that at least it was slated to come back. I think it's coming back. We'll
Yeah,
keep
that's what I
it
heard.
too.
Yeah.
Very cool. So have you done more theater since kind of you got back in, or not got back, you got into TV and film?
Um, Not really. The most recent theater thing I did was Oliver, and I played Oliver at MTW. But I am going to be getting a little bit into theater coming up. I don't know the exact date. I might have written it down somewhere. The 30th or something. The 30th of September. No, October.
Yeah.
August. Oh no, August. It was August 30th. I don't know why I'm thinking later months, but it's August 30th, and I'm doing a show called King of Pangea, and it's the music is beautiful, and
Mm.
it's sort of more simple than like a full-on scale production. It's more like we all sit in a circle, hold our scripts, and play the really cool music.
That's
So
very
that's the
cool.
closest. Because the thing with theater is that it takes up like rehearsals like 10 hours, like not 10 hours, but it's crazy amount of time a day.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes. But like the thing is if you want to do both, theater is really hard to do like with TV and film.
And you're still going to school, I imagine, right? Are you homeschooled? Are you going to regular school? What is that like?
Well, I'm in independent school. I think that's sort of the same thing as homeschool, except I do go see my teacher. Well, I did until COVID hit. Now it's online once a week, and she gives me a week worth of homework, and then I have that 1 week to complete it. I can do whatever I want as long as I get it done by the day I meet with her. So it's a really good structure for me. Like I can just do one subject a day if I want to. Just all has to be done in the week.
Nice. And listen, for being an actor, it's certainly great to have that flexibility. So
Yeah, definitely.
very cool. And then coming back kind of all the way around to the Disney Plus show, The Diary of a Future President, where you play Claude, by the way, for
Yeah.
anybody who hasn't seen it and is not familiar with you. Tell us more about that and what's kind of slated for season 2 that you're allowed to mention.
hmm Well, Claude is this like nerdy, allergic to almost everything kind of kid.
Yeah.
And in season 2, he's causing accidental problems. Like he doesn't mean to cause problems, but for a couple episodes, he's sort of like a main conflict.
Mhm.
So that the main character, who's played by Tess, Elena, that she has to sort of move her way around, and that's all I'm gonna say. But watch
Good.
it, Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's wonderful. Anything else that's kind of slated to come out that we're allowed to mention?
Um, anything else slated to come out? Um, just auditioning. Couple things are, like I said, pending.
Yeah.
And I'm doing a little new music. That's sort of like another, not really a musical. It's just I'm singing a song at like, uh, what's the name of it? Like a Catalina nightclub or something. That one's still like being worked on, the song and stuff, but that one is still slated to happen. Yeah, I think that
Very,
one's September 15th.
very cool.
Yeah.
And now that you're, much older and wiser at 15, now, do you see yourself continuing in this path and trying to, make this your life's journey in acting?
Yeah, like definitely. Acting is definitely my passion, and I'm told that like you're so lucky because like a lot of you already know what you want to do. Some people are like 50 years old and they're like, I don't know what I want to do, and I definitely recognize how lucky I am that I know I want to do this. But if for some odd reason I lost the ability to act, I wake up one morning and I cannot act, I would still stay in like the film world. I would like try and become a director, a writer, something like that. Because writing allows you to be creative, and I love writing, whether it be like an essay, a story, a poem. But yeah.
Wonderful. Keep at it again. Fingers crossed
Fingers
permanently.
crossed.
Permanently. And I again, being that it's your birthday, being that so many exciting things are happening for you, really sincerely wish you to continue exploring it and continue doing it and enjoying and finding yourself in it because it is rare, it is wonderful. It's something that very few people get a chance to do at a certain scale and for a duration that they want. So please keep doing it as much as you can.
Yeah. I'll definitely keep going as long as I can.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for joining us, and best of luck with your nomination and more nominations to come. Thank
Yeah.
you, Trev.
Well, thank you for having me. This was great.
It's my pleasure. And thanks to everybody for tuning in into another episode of Let's Dive In. Now that you met Travis, please go to Netflix, please go to Disney Plus, continue watching, and then vote for him if you're in the any capacity in the YEA, so you can get that win as well. Thank you, everybody.